is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, you know, the bunkers. Gotta have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, good morning. Welcome aboard. It is Friday. Yes, the end of the week. The week after pain. You know, but today we'll obviously talk about all kinds of things going on in sports and entertainment, music, crypto. You know how it is on this show. We go over all kinds of things as always. So we will address all kinds of stuff. We'll talk a little Dolphins, of course. We'll give you our predictions on playoff weekend. We'll talk about that, the spreads, go over some of the action last night. Actually, it was a lot of fun watching the FAU game last night, and Jimmy Butler was at the Did you see that, Sean? Jimmy Butler was at the FAU game, dude. That's pretty cool. And by the way, kudos to FAU. Great atmosphere in the building. That was really cool. It was cool to see on the Deuce. Yes, sir.
Barkov was there as well.
Oh, I did not know that. I did not see that. Oh, I must have missed that one. I must have missed it when they showed him.
Well, if you watch Butler as he exits, I don't know if you watched it on. I saw the clip on X. I didn't see it.
I see. I watched the game. Actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Butler's leaving and he walks by where Barkov's kind of standing.
Okay, that is so freaking cool, dude. Barkov also going to a game. That is awesome. That is awesome. So. Just the floor looks great on television with the palm trees and everything, and the Martin kid, and obviously John L. Davis is a stud. But Martin came up with some big 3-pointers in that game, dude. That was fun. That was fun to see, and it's fun to see FAU in the spotlight. You know, it's good to see our local teams, you know, get the spotlight, and hopefully Nova will get back on track. I know they're back in action tomorrow. And they'll get maybe hopefully another 50-game streak going here and get things going. And maybe, hey, listen, they're still in their mix for their national title overall. So they'll be right there when it's all said and done. But anyway, so we got a bunch of things to talk about. Cam Wolf is set to join us around 10:30. Manny Navarro at 11 a.m. So we'll talk a little Dolphins with Cam, a little Canes with Manny Navarro. Inter Miami broke their training camp, so they're headed off to El Salvador to start their preseason touring. Boy, they're doing all kinds of stuff, brother. They are making some money. I don't know how Messi stays in one piece. He will be playing limited minutes for a lot of these games because there's no way, and people are going to be paying a lot of money to see Messi for a few minutes only. But anyway. Is what it is. So we got a bunch of different things going on in sports, NFL, all kinds of stuff that I want to get to. So plenty of stuff. Of course, your questions, your comments. And, of course, you can always make a donation to help the show out. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. As always, you can send in a super chat, and we love the super chats. But, you know, YouTube takes away 30%. That's why we tell you Cash App or Venmo, because that's 100%. So there you go. Do a little roll call on a Friday. Steve Chapman is number 1 in the house. I think that's how it went. Let me see. Let me make sure. No, it's actually Ray Sosa first. It's just it already got erased because already enough people on the thing. But there it goes. Then it's Steve Chapman. So we got to give Ray credit because he is first in. Then Chapman. Thank you, Steve. Louis M is in. Zoria out in San Jose says he hopes everybody's having a good week. Remember to smash the like button and fins up, everybody. Lewis says, I will be disappointed now if we don't get Derrick Henry. It just makes too much sense. Well, we'll see. Apparently others like my idea too because they followed suit. Aaron Hernandez is in. Thank you, sir. Brian Walters, Steven Gonzalez, El Jivarro. Yes, I'm hyped too for Inter, man. I just hope they pace Messi throughout this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? You have enough talent that you don't have. I get he doesn't like to sit, but you know, if you want to play all these games, you better start taking care of him. Okay. Hey, happy birthday to Liam Eichenberg. I see there the Dolphins have posted. So celebrating a birthday today. Tiger Shark Tony. Gus 1388. What was he panicking about over the wrong things? Alexis, Brian Morgado, J-Town. Thoughts on if Miami would interview Bieniemy as a no, that's not going to happen. Skylar Timpton, Morning O from snowy Chicago. As Tyreek said on his Twitch stream, F everyone, it still fins up. Yep. Just make sure you catch everything there, Tyreek. Catch the big plays, please. Stop dropping key balls, por favor. I know you're awesome, but you drop too many key passes. So you need to fix that. Alexis with the smart, very smart suggestion. Buy, nice dip. Oh, sweet dip. The Grayscale has sold 2.3 billion Bitcoin. And 3 billion has been bought. Plus the people that have panicked have sold their Bitcoin, and then some of the miners. So you have a really sweet dip right now. For me personally, I took advantage once again of the kryptonite dip last night. It went down to the high 7s and the low 8s. It's still in the low 8s right now. And I loaded up on some more kryptonite so I can lower my average. That's what I do. And then those of you that are newbies in a Bitcoin, this is a blessing. Not that I'm a financial advisor, but any kind of altcoin that is lower than your average price, and you believe in that, this is the opportunity right now, and one of your last opportunities before we get to once the Grayscale exit ends. Okay, which we don't know how they had 600,000 Bitcoins in their trust, and they have started an ETF. So people are getting their money out of the trust in order to put it into the ETF and taking their profits like any good investor should do and would do. And it's your right. You know what I'm saying? So this is great. It opens up opportunities for you to get more Bitcoin. My daughter was like yesterday, like, I got more Bitcoin. But young people are different. Young people are, they are like her boyfriend too. They got Bitcoin. He also got kryptonite. Also, he's on a couple things that I put him on, and he's set up beautifully. But this is the opportunity right here for those, especially for you newbies. Those of you that have just gotten in this bull run now, or right before the real bull run starts, this is a blessing for you right now. And you're going to see in a couple of months, or by the end of the year, when that thing's at 100,000, you're going to go, wow, I did great getting it at 40, 41, 42, 43. I was like, damn, I more than doubled my money. And you know how hard it is for any asset in the world to double at 40,000? In fact, no asset in the world can do that. There's only one asset in the world that does that, and it's Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of it. Okay? Anyway, so this is the blessing for anybody that is a Bitcoiner or crypto person like myself. This is the opportunity, man. No doubt about that. What else do we have here? Popeye, Tua getting a bag. Yeah, of course. Dolphin, Timothy Eason is in. The party's over. Ruben Jimenez. Ray. Did you see Derrick Henry said he wanted to be drafted? He thought he might have been traded to the Dolphins. Yeah, I saw all of that. But this is why I talked about it ahead of time, because I know that this is a perfect fit for him right now. And I know that Mike McDaniel needs that kind of force to make him say, it's all right, I don't need to put it in the air. Let me hand it off to the beast. And if you're hitting them with Henry and then you strike them with Mostert, as I told you, it keeps these guys fresh. You don't have to overwork Mostert and Achane. And then you could use their speed, and you're hitting them with Henry, and then you hit them with Mostert and Achane, and they got to you're at the batter's box, right? And you're looking at the pitcher, and you want to step in a little closer into the plate because you want to make sure if he goes to the outside, you want to be able to get it, right? And you're looking at him, and he's throwing that off-speed stuff, and you're trying to time it. and he's got you in the hole at 3-2. And then what does he do? Then he just throws the fireball. And you've been working that curve and that off-speed stuff, and you're trying to figure it out, and then he hits you with a 98, 103, and you're like, whack, because you're way late. That's what I want. Bam, 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 I'm going to hit you with Derrick Henry, and then all of a sudden, I'm going to wallop you with some speed, like, whoa, I had to react faster. He's gone. And that's what I want. So, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if they listen to me. What else do we have here? The party's over, Bubba. I think I mentioned that. Tim Eason, okay. One-Eyed Jack. I'm definitely on board with the idea of signing Henry. Add some thunder to the Lightning. Well, there's no thunder right now. And Brooks would be a nice backup to him. So I like it like that. Let's see. Morning Dolphins Nation. Thanks for the good news on yesterday's show. Well, I'm glad you listened to the show and watched it. Thank you. And spread it. Spread the word. Share the link. Timothy says, got to look at everything as a whole, not only a QB, but definitely the had a hand in the team's shortcomings also. But replacing him, let's stop. No, that's a silly discussion. I don't need to take part on. Horn Dog is in the house. Dolphin is in. Ricardo Cuchican, Popeye, Casa Nostra. Let's see. Ace AD Dances is Paul in Connecticut. Devin Jordan. It's 37 degrees in Atlanta. Holy shit. Man, that's cold, bro. That's cold. Raging. Sal is in. Manolo Rivera. Big O, thank you for your Dolphin Nuggets. Concise and focus on the issues. Thank you, sir. Nizzle, Ray Grullon. Let's see. Draft question. You think the tight end Bowers? No, he's no shot. No shot. I was looking to see if there'll be another first rounder, but Bowers is not going to. He's like a top 10. So don't expect him to last to the 21st pick. Now, I don't know how many juniors can declare that will push him down. You know what I'm saying? But at least right now, from what I'm seeing, I don't think there's any chance that he lasts to 21. So let's see. I believe he will learn from his mistakes, and please, no Field. He's horrible. That's not going to happen. Stop with all that stupidity. Those are idiots going off on something else because they don't like Tua or whatever, and then they bring up Justin Fields, a guy that's had so many accuracy issues. Why? Because he got on a little bit of a streak. You guys still haven't understood my whole athlete deal, right? Athletes will fool you because they can do some things sometimes. It makes it look like they are the guy, but they really are not because they really can't consistently pass. You know what I'm saying? But that's just in general, I'm saying. Has nothing to do with Miami. That's just a waste of time. Christian, Dolphin. Let's see. Anthony Campos, big first weekend without Dolphin football. What do we watch? Reruns? LOL. We have to wait all the way till September. I'm such a baby because the Dolphins make me cry. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Bradley Maddox says, I'm so tired of the Chiefs and all the Bills fans and players hope they beat their asses this weekend. Good luck to y'all. Good luck to y'all who pull for the Bills. I am not pulling. I can't pull for no Bills. Let's see. Christian in. A little Jasmine, man. There you go. I mean, I can't lower. It's not. Like, this dip is not low enough for me to lower my Jasmine number, but I got my Jasmine bag, so I'm set with my Jasmine bag. I'll wait for the run. Richard Cartwright. Good morning, Big O. If you were the GM, what changes would you do? Asking a fan from the Bahamas. Richard, you need to listen to the show yesterday. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff that I talked about with changes. I kind of tell you what's going to go on. Forget about all this bullshit from media or fans of, hey, I would do this, and I would do that, and I would do that, and I would sign this guy, I would trade for that guy. And they come up with all these stupid scenarios that have no reality behind them. So we kind of talked a lot about that yesterday. There's a lot of nuggets throughout that show. See, that's why I tell you guys, some of you out there just watch segments and you kind of miss the talk. And if you don't want to watch it, that's fine by me. But, there will be nuggets spread out throughout the show. And and it's done on purpose. It's not done like I'm going to do it all in one shot or whatever. If you listen, there was stuff spread out throughout the entire show from beginning to end. And there was a nice bomb that was dropped yesterday if you picked up on it. But anyway, so don't know how many of you picked up on that bomb yesterday, but it was one. What else do we have here? Andrew Williams. He apparently has gotten, I guess I started a whole Derrick Henry thing yesterday. I guess everybody started talking about it. Let's see. Yeah, but last year, DeMarcus is different. Last year, you had to give up compensation. That's why what you said last year made no sense. So I told you last year, there will be no trade for Derrick Henry. There'll be no trade for Dalvin Cook, and there'll be no trade for Jonathan Taylor. Because if Chris Greer and the rest of the front office was going to make any kind of move, it was going to be a layup move. It was going to be what's the term we use on the show? Low-hanging fruit. So were they going to give Derrick Henry away? No, they weren't going to give him away. So if you didn't want to give Dalvin Cook away, and if Dalvin Cook didn't want to take less money, he wasn't going to play for the Dolphins. It's probably another reason why he ended up signing also with Baltimore. Baltimore looks like the team that has the better chance than Miami. So that's probably what he also did. But I'm sure he wasn't happy that Miami, his hometown team, wasn't rolling the red carpet over for, we got to have you. No, dude. No. We'll bring you on, but on our terms, not yours. And so that's why the Derrick Henry stuff last year made no sense. That's why the Dalvin Cook stuff made no sense. And Jonathan Taylor. So talking about it last year, that's why I shot you down, DeMarcus, and everybody else down. Because I knew that those teams weren't literally, or the players, when Dalvin was a free agent, they weren't going to bend over backwards and just give in. They had their agenda. I knew Miami had their agenda, and if you don't meet their criteria, they're not going to go crazy for you. That's all media bread, and then it feeds into you guys. You got media members say, oh, my God, no, Dalvin Cook will be the difference maker, and Jonathan Taylor and all that, and they feed you that bullshit, and then you go off on it because you're fanatical, and then you're all talking about it. And then you don't make any sense because you don't really understand the situation, including the media, who thinks that they were going to go trade for him or pay him big money or anything like that. So anybody on TV, radio, or newspaper that was telling you they've got to go out and get Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor or whatever, they really didn't understand the situation. And just like last year for you, sir, with Derrick Henry, you didn't understand the situation. They weren't going to bend over backwards for a running back. It's just not what they do. And I've tried to explain that a lot of times a lot of people that have followed this platform, I think over time they've kind of gone like, I think might be right here because that's what they keep showing us. And now I think people have kind of figured it out. You know what I mean? So now you can get Derrick Henry on your terms. You don't have to give up any draft compensation, and you can control the salary you want to give him now. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to go and bend over backwards for him. You're going to give him a respectable salary, but you're not going to go crazy. So, but I wish they signed Derrick Henry. I think it would be exactly what Miami needs. I think he could give you 2 years, which is what you have left before the window closes. Okay? I think some of the media is catching up to what I've been saying for over a year now, that they have 2 more years left. I think because now I'm hearing some of the people backtrack from this coming season. Because, you know, the media was feeding you a whole bunch of bullshit that, oh, my God, it's going to be salary hell in 2024. And I kept telling you it's not. So, you know, I get it, dude. Sensationalism sells. They've got to do that kind of stuff. I don't do it for that. I would love for Sean and myself to get 100,000 views on the show every day. That would be fantastic. That would help us. You know, that really helps us that you watch long term, not just checking in and hitting that actually hurts us, by the way. Just so you all know, those of you that check in and hit the like button and leave, you kill us. You hurt us. You don't help us at all. Seriously. What helps us is staying there and watching. Sustained time watching is what helps us. If you pop in, you hurt the average, and pop out, it's terrible. Just so you'll know. And I would love 100,000 views. I would love 1 million views. It would be great. It would help Sean make even more money. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do shit for sensationalism. I'm just not going to do that stuff. I don't have to. And I'm not going to. I've never done it that way for 30. This is my 34th year now that we're starting. I've never done it that way, and I never will. Okay? When I tell you something and it's, you know, weird and like, oh my God, this is like, are you serious? It's because that's what happened. I'm not trying to be sensationalistic. You know, so it is what it is. Andrew Williams, George Gonzalez says it's 10 degrees in Colorado Springs. Damn, George, hang in there, bro. Stay warm. Do you miss Neil Rogers? Yes, I do, Walter. Of course I do. His show was one of a kind. John C. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Congrats on the 20,000 subscribers. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks to all the subscribers. Remember, sustained watching. That's what pays off for us. Sustained watching. That's why I tell you, if you got to walk away, let it play. That's why. No, but I'm serious. Those of you out there that you think you pop in and you hit the like button, then pop out. Oh, I'm helping. Oh, you're not helping us. You're not. You're not at all. So that's, I'm just telling you, it's not good for us. So, and we know the people that do it. We see it, you know, it's kind of all the stats are there, you know. So, and I appreciate they think they're helping and you mean well, but it's really not helping. Timothy Eason, Eric Bedenbaugh, Sanders from Texas is a first-round tight end. Well, okay, if you say so. I haven't really looked in from what I saw, at least from the players that are available. Bowers is the only first rounder, at least for that. So, Karoon says someone was born right after the Finns' last Super Bowl that cursed them. We must take him out, not violently, of course. Wink, wink. Chad is in the house. Andrew Williams. Let's see, Mr. Majestic. Bradley Maddox. I'm a Longhorns fan. Don't get too high in Sanders. He really faded this year. You know what? All I can do is tell the other guy there's one first-round tight end. Brock Bowers. That's it. There's one first-round tight end. Outside of that, there isn't another first-round tight end. Okay? Anthony Campos, is everyone in this group chat Lions fans? They've been in a rougher, darker hole than us. Yes, they have. Yeah, they've never won anything. In fact, I was making a list, was it yesterday? We've got 12 teams that have never won a title. The Lions are one of them, right? And so you've got the Steelers and the Pats, each of them with 6 Super Bowls. You've got San Francisco and Dallas, each with 5 Super Bowls. You've got Green Bay and the Giants, each with 4 Super Bowls. And then you've got 12 teams that have never won the Super Bowl. The Cards, the Falcons, the Bills, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Browns, the Lions, the Texans, Jags, Chargers, Vikings, and Titans. Those are the 12 teams that haven't won the Super Bowl. 3 of those 12 are in the playoffs right now: Texans, Lions, and Bills. So 3 out of the 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl will have an opportunity. The Bills won the AFL championship in 64 and 65, and the Chargers won the AFL championship in 63. So they have championship history, but it was before the merger between the AFL and the NFL. That's when they won their championship. So 3 out of the 12 teams that have never won a title have an opportunity. Will any of them do it? We'll see if one of those 12 actually get an opportunity. All right. Let's do it. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins football. He's thawed out. We unleash the WolfPack.
We unleash the WolfPack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. How you doing, my man? Good?
I'm doing all right, man. Unfortunately, I just arrived at my destination for the weekend, which you wouldn't believe it. It's back in Buffalo. And so I'm looking outside my window, and there's snow out here. And I'm just hoping I don't get stuck here for a week again. I just want to cover it.
Supposedly, it's not. Are you? They're not supposed to get a
so
storm,
the
right?
game is supposed to be clear. The game is supposed to be clear. We're getting on and off snow today. There may be a little tomorrow morning, but supposedly Sunday when the game's played, there's no worry of snow. It is currently snowing, and there is a lot of snow on the ground. And they are having shovelers. They invited fan shovelers to come to the stadium starting at 2 o'clock to shovel the stadium. And so it's still a factor in Buffalo, but it shouldn't impact the game. Like, we shouldn't have a postponement issue like we did last week. The issue will just be, what is it like for people to drive, and does it affect flights for me to try to get home on Monday morning?
Right. Okay. All right. I mean, are you getting a pad there on the side?
What?
Just, since you're starting to live there, I mean, what the hell?
No.
Maybe I can get a little room for you on top of the anchor bar, and that's it. And that way you can pick up, get wings, and cover the bills.
It's funny, at the airport, I keep running into snowbirders, and they look at me weird when I tell them I'm doing the opposite. I live in Florida. I'm just going into the storm every weekend just for fun. It's different type of snowbirding. I don't know what you would call that, but I live in Florida, and just when they get the coldest, snowiest weather, that's when I'm going out to Buffalo. No. This will be my last weekend at Buffalo, unless something crazy happens this weekend. Even if the Bills do win, they would most likely play at Baltimore next week, unless Baltimore lost to the Texans. So I would still be cold, but I would be in Baltimore versus Buffalo next week, assuming that the Ravens win.
I'd rather have crab cakes than
buffalo wings. So,
and the thing is, I really like buffalo wings, and I will say that I had probably 4 different places of buffalo wings last week because I was here for 7 days, and they were all pretty good. But I did not know this until this past week. But there is a limit of how many buffalo wings you can eat, and before you're like, man, I think I want something different. Like I've long been a wing guy, and I thought like wings were a type of food where hey, you can't get tired of them. I am here to tell you, yes, you can get tired of wings, and I found that out this week. Every time I went out, somebody was like, "Hey, try this place," and I was like, "What do they serve?" And like wings. I'm like, please, give me something. Give me a burger. Give me a pizza. Give me something. A steak, something else other than wings. And so I've had a 3 or 4 day wing break. I think I still need a couple more. Maybe by Saturday, maybe by Sunday, I can be ready to have wings again. But right now, I've had my wing fix.
I'll tell you what I'm guilty of. I can eat Mexican and Italian every damn day of my life.
Really?
Every day of my life, I can eat those 2 types of food. God, I love Mexican and Italian food.
Wow.
Yeah, I can eat that every day, bro. Every day. Dangerous as hell. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. Let's talk a little Dolphins. I've been trying to walk people off the ledge and all that stuff because, they always talk crazy stuff about the quarterback. Tua's here to stay. Just, get over it, whatever you want to talk about. I don't even entertain the stupidity of Justin Fields or anything like that. I don't know what information you have, but you tell me what you think. Tua will be signed to a long-term deal this offseason.
Yeah, I believe so. I'd be shocked if Tua's not the quarterback to start week 1 of 2024. Like, I don't think that's a realistic consideration. I do think the main question, which has been asked, and it's probably a legitimate question, is this the offseason to give him the long-term extension? I think that's probably the only reasonable question, whether he plays on the 5th-year option or if he gets a long-term extension. I don't think there's any question that he's your starting quarterback in 2024. He's answered that. He stayed healthy, played at a Pro Bowl level. Yes, you want him to play better in big games late in the year, like you want them to as a team, like you want Mike McDaniel to coach better in them, but it doesn't mean you blow it up. I think Tua's your best option, your clear best option of what you're going to have, and he'll be your guy. So, like I said, the only question here is whether Chris Greer and the Dolphins say, hey, we're going to make him our guy and give him guaranteed money for the next 3 or 4 years this offseason, or if we're just going to make him play out 1 more year on that 5th-year option, kind of like Lamar Jackson.
I think happens because I think it's a guarantee that he gets a long-term.
I don't think it's a guarantee, but I do think it's more likely than not. I think it's more likely than not that Tua ends up getting a long-term extension, from what I understood. I think the only thing you could say is if they go the Lamar route, what the Ravens did, which essentially Lamar ended up playing out his 5th-year option. Ultimately, they ended up having him franchise tag, and then he ended up getting the long-term extension. Now, that ended up playing out a little longer. I don't know that the Tua situation goes out that long, but if they really, really felt like, hey, we're not ready to give him, and this is only if Tua's camp is playing a little bit more hardball and say, hey, we want, near top of the market money, and the Dolphins aren't ready to give them top of the market money right now is $55 million a year. If Tua and his team are like, hey, we want to reset the market, and the Dolphins are like, hey, we're not there.
They won't allow that.
And I'm not saying, I'm just saying hypothetical. I'm not saying that this is the case. But that might be the only scenario there if they can't get right on the number and Tua's like, hey, I'm not going to settle for just any long-term deal, then that would be a scenario where I can see both sides saying, hey, okay, well, I value my client more. I'm not there yet on your guy. And so let's play it out 1 more year and see if he could do the exact same thing he did last year, ideally with some better end of the season results. And then if he does that, maybe we'll meet your number. That would be the one scenario there. But I think ultimately, given what the situation is, the injuries Tua's had, the fact that he loves Mike, the fact that Mike seems to love him, and the fact that this is the guy they drafted for the idea that he could be their long-term answer, I think they find a way to get a deal done this offseason.
Vic, stay or go?
I think he stays. I certainly heard what Mike McDaniel said in the press conference when he was asked, and he kind of seemed to leave it open instead of like a zapped, hey, he's back. But I think that was more of a cautious thing for all of his coordinators. I do know they've had some conversations with coaches already this week. There's going to be some changes.
The coaching stuff is next week. The coaching stuff is all next week when they have their.
So yeah, they've started to have some conversations. I do know that several coaches were having meetings planned yesterday and today with Mike McDaniel to talk about their role going forward. I talked with some lower level coaches who know they're not coming back next year, and that'll probably come out at some point later today. A couple of those names, but I haven't heard as of right now any big news, like move shaking news. Obviously, we're going to keep an eye on what happens with Frank Smith. He's interviewing for a few head coaching jobs. So if he ends up getting one of those jobs, then obviously you have to shuffle some things on the offensive side of the ball. But I think more likely than not, you see a decent amount of status quo on this staff.
But the Vic stuff, I think, is next week. Is when they the big coaches. They'll meet with those guys, and I think I think he comes back when it's all said and done.
I do too. Vic is a different dude, so you never know what he's thinking. But he has a contract for at least multiple years left on his deal, where he's getting paid highest paid defensive coordinator in football money, and so there's not like he necessarily would want to go elsewhere. He's not going to get that. That's not a situation where he's leaving to go.
Oop, we lost him. There we go. He's back. Wait a minute. Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, my wife is calling me. It's not like he would be leaving for a more advantageous situation. It would just be like if he decided all of a sudden, hey, I'm done. Which I don't get the vibe that he was worn out too much, where he's like, I'm done with coaching. And I don't think that there was such a disconnect between him and McDaniel, where McDaniel was like, hey, forget it, we're going to eat that money. But I will say I'm going to keep an eye on, I don't know if this is the offseason, but Anthony Campanelli is getting a lot of love throughout the league as far as a potential defensive coordinator. And I think that he has the right temperament, the right coaching style, the right leadership ability. He's having an interview with the Giants for their defensive coordinator gig, which would be I'm sure if he got offered it, he would take it because he's a New Jersey guy. It's an amazing opportunity for him. But regardless, eventually they're going to have some of these younger coaches come up, and they're going to have to decide, do we risk losing one of our rising coaches? Austin Clark will be another guy that's in that realm as well, versus keeping Vic. So maybe that's a year or two down the line, but eventually I think they're going to have a succession plan for post-Vic. I just don't think it's this year.
And then Crossman, why isn't his ass already out on the street?
Yeah, I think they're going to go through the process. Obviously, Crossman's been through a couple different regimes, and one thing I think that's probably not us in the media and the fans probably don't give enough credit to is just maybe their role with the coach outside of their main role. We look at Crossman as a special teams coach. He helps McDaniel with a lot of game management stuff, a lot of different planning stuff. And so there's probably reasons why McDaniel views him as valuable. Now, I'll tell you what, I've watched special teams for 2 or 3 years now. I think they should have got an upgrade on his special teams ability. But there are probably reasons why.
He's helping in game management. He ain't helping much.
Right. But the reason I say that is that certain coaches, for Mike in particular, I think he wants to have different perspectives because Crossman's not from his tree, but also veteran coaches who have a know-with-all. And so Fangio is one thing, but I think Crossman gives him a little different perspective, which is why they kept him around. Now, I do think that this should be the offseason. You start to look at other options. This is my opinion. But you're asking me why he's stuck around, why he hasn't been axed the day after the season. I think they do probably see more value in him than we do.
I think that stuff is next week. All those.
Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he certainly is still out and they find a new special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
I don't think that decision's been made yet. Right. That's my point. But I'm just saying it wasn't a situation where they were like, as soon as the season's over, I'm giving Crossman his walking papers. I don't think there was that much angst with him as there may have been in the media and the fan base.
Well, no, and they probably don't have his replacement yet. So
exactly. And you got to interview guys. You got to go through a whole process, know who your candidates are, that sort of deal. And so, yeah, it's a process.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. What's it called? Who goes? Who goes? Who's gone? Give me the names that you think are gone.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to play that game because I don't want to talk about coaches. This is their livelihood and stuff like that.
No. I'm talking about players.
Oh, I mean, it's players' livelihoods too, but they're a little bit more expendable because they can pop from team to team a little easier. I think Emmanuel Ogbah was going to be gone. I think it was a clear not fit between him and Vic Fangio. I don't know why Vic did not love Ogbah. Maybe it's a scheme. Maybe it's something else. But Emmanuel Ogbah probably will be one of the earliest, in my opinion, veteran releases. If they do right by him, they would get him gone earlier than later so he can get a early bite at that free agency market. But we'll see there. I'd imagine that they're going to ask Xavier Howard to take a pay cut. I don't think X is going to take a chop me in half pay cut. Like, I think he's set to make 17, 18 million or something this year, and none of it's guaranteed. If they tell him, hey, we're going to have to cut you down to 8 million, I think he's saying, no, you go ahead and cut me. But if it's something like, hey, we trim you 3, 4, 5 million, get you down to, 13, 14, 15 million, I could see him being amenable to something like that, possibly. So that's going to be an interesting question there. They're going to have tough decisions with Rob Hunt and Connor Williams. Both of their markets probably will dictate that. Connor in particular, coming off a torn ACL, it's balancing, like, how much do you want to bet on a guy coming off a serious injury? Probably not as serious as it used to be, but it's still something that's going to cost you. Probably, I'd imagine he's not back by training camp. It may be a situation where you're on the borderline of week 1. Like, is he going to be back week 1? Do you put him on PUP to start the first 4 weeks of the season type deal?
As long as you bring back Eichenberg, as long as you bring back your birthday boy, because it is his birthday today. Happy birthday, Lee. As long as you bring back that. By the way, they told me
Eichenberg will be under contract, so I imagine he is back.
They love him.
Yeah.
They love what he did this year. They love how he filled in on one leg. They're actually pissed in the building that people aren't giving Liam more credit for the way he played because he was so screwed up while he was playing.
Yeah, he played through a lot. Like, I know Eichenberg gets a lot of flack, but like, I've talked to Butch Berry and some of the people there. Like, what Liam Eichenberg played through keeps guys out 3-4 weeks typically. He played every week through it, and he played at a position that he hadn't played or started in until this season. And so it wasn't perfect. He certainly got his butt kicked sometimes, but I think it's a valiant effort for him, and I think that he's definitely going to have an opportunity to compete and probably be penciled in that role early in the offseason while Connor Williams coming back from injury if he is back. So yeah, him and Rob Hunt are two guys that I'm keeping an eye on because they are $40 million over the cap. Because the reality is, like, I know people say the cap isn't real. The cap is real. Like, yes, you can manipulate it to make it work in your condition, but you can't just say, bring everybody back. Cap isn't real. No, you have to start to make some decisions. And so you got a decision on Christian Wilkins coming up. You got a decision on Andrew Van Ginkel. I got a decision on the 2 offensive linemen I mentioned. You got
Wilkins. Is he gone or does he stay? Because I think he is absolutely gone.
Unless the Dolphins raise their number,
no chance.
Certainly have to raise his number significantly than what it was. He proved with his pass rush. He proved for his pass rush this offseason, because that was the big question. Could he get sacks? Could he have the pass rush? He proved that he deserves to be paid that 4-year, $92 million deal that all his peers got. Are the Dolphins willing to pay him $22, $23, $24 million a year? They weren't last offseason. They weren't even in the 20s. And so they would have to significantly raise their offer. And other than that, I think you're going to see Christian Wilkins gone. I mean, I guess they technically could franchise tag him, but given their cap situation, I don't think they're putting that much of allotment on their cap.
I said that yesterday. There will be no tags.
Yeah.
No tags this offseason because they will not have the flexibility to hold a hard cap number for Wilkins or even Holland.
Right. And don't be surprised if you see some restructures. I think Tyreek will restructure his deal to get that cap number down. They're going to have Teron Armstead's got to make a decision if he's coming back, coming back to the NFL. And if so, they may restructure his deal a little bit. I don't think you extend him because he's definitely at the end of his legs of his career. But if he wants to give it one more go, maybe you make it a little bit more cap friendly for him as well. And then, like you said, you got Waddle coming up. You got Javon Holland coming up. You got Rob Hunt now. You got Christian Wilkins now. You got Andrew Van Ginkel now. You got to figure out who you're going to bring in with Chubb and Phillips going to be gone most likely early parts of the season. Like, there's a lot of question marks before you even get to the upgrade department. And so, if you get rid of X, like we talked about, which I think is a dangerous move, who are you going to have starting at corner? Is it Cam Smith, who you hadn't seen play all year? That's a lot of questions for this Dolphins team.
I think you draft another corner.
It's going to be tough. But they got to drop a left tackle too. Who's going to be the replacement for Teron Armstead in the future?
No, you bring Kendall Lim back is what you do
as your long-term left tackle starter.
No, as the fill-in for Armstead right now, at least.
Gotcha.
You bring him back. You have to Liam and Kendall. Dude, I can't tell you how important those guys are right now.
They are, but are they going to be your 17-game starter? Are they going to be your 17-game starters at left tackle and center?
No, not for the. You don't worry about that. You just worry about covering Teron Armstead's ass.
Gotcha.
At left tackle, and that's it for next year at least. You worry about the rest down the line, but for now, since you got to make a run, and your window is probably 2 more years before it really gets ugly for you cap wise, you got to do something right now. And I think Lamb and Liam are incredibly important to come back because of the depth. And now they have some continuity because Liam will be a better center next year when he's healthy and playing the game. And he understands the position now. You know what I mean? So I think he'll actually be a better player behind Connor whenever Connor does come back. They do love Connor in the building, by the way.
Yep.
They love Connor in the building. That I can tell you for sure.
Gotcha.
All right, one more thing before I let you go. I started a fire yesterday. I say they got to sign Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry is the guy that will bring, and you got to cover him plenty. They don't have thunder. They have a lot of – they need some thunder in there. And this might be what you need to keep Mike McDaniel a little bit more disciplined to stay with the running game because on short yardage, he's going to say, well, I'm just going to give it to the hog. And if you punish people with Derrick, and then you're like hitting him, jabbing him like with Derrick, boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you hit him with Mostert and Achane, and those guys are running at a different speed. It's like you swinging at curves and off speed, and then on 3 and 2 they run a 103 fastball right by your ass, and you're like a minute late on that swing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Derrick Henry is a missing ingredient for this offense, and it'll help McDaniel maybe be a little bit more disciplined and keep most of an Achane.
Well, I got to be really brief with this because I got to leave shortly. But I will say this. I love Derrick Henry. A great guy. Doesn't say a ton as far as the media, but I got to know him really well. Great guy. I think he would certainly be an upgrade. The questions I would have is the Dolphins have very rarely put resources at the running back position. How much is it going to cost? Because Derrick Henry is going to be a very desirable piece for a lot of people. And running back is low on their priorities as far as quote-unquote upgrades. And so does that fall in line with the needs that we all discussed otherwise? If it makes sense, if the money's right and makes sense, then yes, I love it for him because Derrick Henry gives them late-game ability to be able to run the ball and lean on the guy. Durability he's shown, an ability to show power and speed. The one question I'll have, he's not a great pass protector or pass catcher, so you're still going to have to balance it out, like you said, with Mostert and Achane. And I know McDaniel doesn't love to tip his hands of when Henry's in the game. You might assume it's a run versus vice versa. But Derrick Henry, to me, even at 30, is still a top 7 back in this league. And I would be wholeheartedly up for that. It's just what it costs, and is adding a Derrick Henry worth missing an upgrade at a corner position or a wide receiver or a left tackle. You got to balance all of that throughout your decision making.
Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Cam, as always, man, be safe there in your travels, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
All right, appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. There you go, Cameron Wolf. And we love our folks at KSDT CPAs. They know how to get it done with your personal taxes, your business taxes. Please call our friends at KSDT CPAs. Use that QR code. We got the tax season coming up in April. business taxes, that's all year round. You need that guidance. You got that company right there. You'll have an agent that is going to be working with you constantly and helping you out. And whenever you need some advice, you can pick up the phone, and KSDT is right there for you. By the way, they're also hiring in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. They've got offices all throughout South Florida, and they've got a new office in North Carolina, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you happen to live and you're looking for work in this kind of area, call the folks at KSDT CPAs. Use that number 305-670-3370. And if you want to do your taxes right, use that QR code and reach out to our friends at KSDT CPAs.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Okay, now I can say it. All right, we are back. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate Cam Wolf. Manny Navarro will join us at the top of the hour. Don't forget, of course, Welton Rayom, proud sponsors of our program. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom, they are absolute ass kickers. And let me tell you something, folks. If you're dealing with, financial issues, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, maybe there was a bunch of rain, because now it's not just hurricane season. Okay, we could have torrential downpours at any moment nowadays because of the way things are nowadays. It's a hell of a lot different now. It seems to be there's a lot more humidity in the air. And so you get condo damage, property damage, or maybe a pipe breaks in your home and there's some damage, water damage to the floors, the walls, that kind of stuff. You don't know if you have a case or not. The consultation is completely free. Call them 954-966-4646. They've got offices in Hollywood and they've got an office in the Keys. So if you happen to be in a condo and your neighbor next door has a pipe break and then that water damage creates damage for your condo, again, before you call the insurance company, you call Welton Rayom. 954-966-4646. Personal injury, commercial litigation. Several of our listeners have hired Welton Rayom with great success. So call them 954-966-4646. They kicked Progressive's ass for us. So they'll do it for you. All right. So check it out. All right. 954-966-4646. All right. What else do we have going on? We'll talk a little bit about some of the games tonight. Tonight I'm wearing this hat in honor of Udonis Haslem. And, of course, I could wear the big three stuff, right? But Udonis was more of a supporter in those days. Whereas in this finals against Dallas, he was a main contributor and played some great defense on Dirk Nowitzki, slowing him down a little bit, which was huge. So I'm just saying, that's in honor of UD, who's getting his jersey retired. We wear this hat. I still remember, because I know Frank Martin really well, and this is my 34th year. So when I was in the early 90s, when I was, young in the business, I used to actually go down to some of the Miami High games. And Frank would allow me to go into the locker rooms at halftime. And that was UD's team, with Porter and all those kind of guys on there. And I got to see Frank Martin in action. Ripping into people at halftime and all that. So it was a cool thing. So I've been watching UD since he was a Miami High Stingaree, so it's pretty cool to watch him every time. When I was on the Heat beat, he and I would just talk Dolphins. That's all UD. Eddie Jones would do the same thing because both guys knew that I covered the Dolphins beat. And so when I would go approach them, we'd never talk Heat basketball. We'd never talk basketball. We'd be talking Dolphins football. Eddie Jones and Udonis Haslem freaking love the Miami Dolphins. Okay, just so you'll know. I'm sure you knew that about Udonis because he's all 305. But Eddie also is a big Dolphins fan too. Anyway, let's do it. Hour number 2 is ready to go. The one and only Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. There he is. Hold on. Let's get that billboard. There we go. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Mike. Can't hear. No. We don't hear you. We don't hear you. Don't you love live? Live is fun. You know what I'm saying? Live is fun. Is this still working? No? Damn it. Oh, well. Maybe I could fire off Dan in between. You there?
Got me now? I'm here now. Sorry about that. I got a phone call literally right when I was signing into you guys, so I apologize.
How dare they?
I know.
Those people. Come on, let's go. I got to tell you something. I found my hero. Okay? And you get to cover him now. Cam McCormick is my hero.
Van Wilder?
Yeah, I want to go to college for 9 years, bro. I mean, that's just awesome. You get to hang out for 9 years in the college atmosphere. I mean, is this guy still going to frats and partying and still chugging 15 beers in 1 hour? Walking around with a hat and the 2 beer cans? What's going? I mean, this guy is he's like Rob Lowe and St. Elmo's Fire. He doesn't want to leave. So I'm just saying, McCormick is my hero. Okay, that's all. The rest of us have to grow up. Cam McCormick never grows up.
No. It is the ultimate life, college for 9 years. We should probably call him Dr. McCormick by now, right? I mean, I would assume he's got to have his medical degree in something. No, he's got master's degrees, he's got his bachelor's, he's got all the school over and done with, but he still wants to try to make.
He's teaching at Doctor's Hospital, is what he's doing.
Teaching is what he's doing now. Yeah, he's got interns and everything. He's enjoying his life and unprecedented, obviously. But the guy also missed 3 consecutive years with an ankle injury, and his first season with another season with an Achilles, and another season, coming off of knee surgery his high school senior year. So I feel for the guy, but he'll get to play 9 years of college football and be one of a kind. That's for sure.
And they have somebody that can buy alcohol on the team.
That's right. That's right. No? He actually gets carded. He actually still gets carded. He told me. So,
well, this son of a bitch is about to get an AARP card in college. That's amazing. I mean, this guy gets to play college and retire at the same time. I mean, that's just awesome. Can't beat that, dude. Wow, that what a great story, man.
Well, meanwhile, they're all 20. They're all 25 years old at BYU.
Yeah, living that way is not fun. By the way, let's be honest now. This has not been fun for the guy. Okay, we joke and we have some fun with it, because we keep thinking of 9 years of party. See, the thing is, the rest of us are thinking, "Wow, I can stave off responsibility for 9 years." Yeah, baby. Yeah. That's kind of the way the rest of us look at it. But going year after year, injury and all that, it's the Andrew Luck thing. Injury, pain, rehab. That's stuck with me forever because that's what these guys go through, bro. Injury, pain, rehab. And that's got to be a bitch of a vicious life.
Yeah, I mean, and to go through it the way he did, where 3 seasons in a row, you had to have three different ankle surgeries because the first 2 didn't get it right. And then imagine you come back from all of that, and your first game back, you tear your Achilles in a win at Ohio State, on your other leg. Imagine going through that emotionally, what that's like. So, he's been through the ringer, but hey, he's getting to do what a lot of people wish they could do, which is play college football and do it at a university like Miami that now has a star quarterback.
Yeah, and it also shows, it's the same thing that every person in their walk of lives, those people that have a passion for what they do, like what you and I do,
right?
What you don't realize is the bullshit that we have to deal with in this business. If you don't love this business, if you don't really love this, you will not last in this business.
Nope.
Be dead and gone in 2 or 3 or 4 years, like you and I have seen in our lifetimes.
Yep.
We've seen a lot of people come and go because dealing with this business is not easy, as you know what I'm saying? And dealing with sports like they do, and you watch 2 on the other side, ankle injury, hip injury, concussion.
you got to have a serious passion to want to continue doing this. And that's the one thing that I will commend McCormick on that. He clearly has a heart for this because you don't think all this game.
And you think about his role. He's a blocking tight end. Okay,
Right.
he's. I mean, think about that too. It's not like you throw him the ball 60 times a game, and he's Travis Kelce. Like, it is a thankless blocking tight end position that he plays. So you really gotta love it. You really gotta love it.
That's when you see the fullback for the Dolphins,
Alex Ingold.
Ingold, you watch him, dude. He's just in car accidents in a game like 80 times in a game, and he loves it. I mean, it's just it really is amazing. All right, what else is on the recruiting trend right now for Mario?
Well, they did pick up another transfer since last you and I spoke, and that was Michelle Powell, the starting cornerback for Washington. He's probably going to come here and play safety, but he's a guy that is a former walk-on. You talk about another guy who really loved the game. He made it to Washington as a walk-on, started all 15 games for the team that lost in the national championship game, and brings some experience to a secondary that needs it, quite frankly. So that was a big pickup for Miami this week. They're up to 9 transfers. A lot of experienced guys that have played other places. This isn't like, getting a bunch of unproven young guys that have talent that are a little older. This is guys that have played. So Mario went out and did the right thing because he's got a lot of freshmen and sophomores that are going to play a lot. But you need older guys to sort of set the example. And I think he's done a good job by basically bringing one in at every position on this team that needed it.
By the way, today the Heat are retiring of a walk-on.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
A guy that came in weight, and Riley made him a bunch of weight and all that kind of stuff. And resurrected his career, man. You know what I mean? So it shows you these kind of guys that have the heart to play this game and fight whatever adversity they have to fight, whether they don't believe or overcome the injuries. All right. Anything else? Anything else, guys? And I know we got to wait for the next window, but is there anything else that's been talked about now?
Well, look, they're going to have. I know nobody wants to talk about 2025, but the crazy thing is that we've already started 2025 recruiting. And Mario Cristobal and his coaches, I don't know if you've seen the video. He was in Chicago.
He's racing his ass off in the snow in the helicopter.
Yes. He's visiting guys in helicopters. And a week from this weekend, not this weekend, but the one after, is going to be Junior Day. So you're going to have a bunch of the best players in the country. And let's face it, these kids commit early, and then you have to hold on to them, and you got to keep recruiting them. So the process, over the summer is when these guys will start to commit. But now is the time when you do the speed dating and you go out and you visit these people in their homes and at their schools, and you say, please consider Miami. And this is when recruiting is won and lost. And this is why Mario is here, because he wants to do this. He wants to get on a freaking helicopter and go in the snow and land at a high school and do the stuff that other guys don't necessarily want to do. So, again, you want Miami to have sustained success. Well, he's had back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes. He's working on another one. It never ends. The grind never ends. You have to recruit like that if you're going to win national championships. I know nowadays people say, the transfer portal. Listen, man, you look at that Michigan roster. Yes, they had a couple of transfers, but the majority of those guys, homegrown, 3, 4, 5-star recruits, guys that they really liked, that Jim Harbaugh developed. So it still takes that, I think, in the long run to win a championship. Versus being a team that just relies on transfers and says, forget it, we're just going to import guys. I still think the traditional model is the way to go to build a sustainable program.
And what you were just saying, it led me to, I'm thinking, this is why Saban left, because it wasn't just recruiting the kids. Now you've got to baby his ass for a year or two to keep him there. And especially in a place like Alabama that's going to be loaded, and you're probably going to be sitting behind somebody when you get there because that roster's so loaded. So you've got to be happy. And Saban's not the kind of guy that wants to be kissing anyone's ass. You know what I'm saying?
No.
What Mario does, Mario's exceptional at all this stuff, dude. It's just he's only got to fix one thing, dude, and that's game day. And what do you hear about that? What is he working on to be a better game day coach?
It's hard to tell you because that's one of those subjects. I don't want to call it a sore subject, but it's certainly certainly something that I think Mario, listen, think about when Mario, where he's been and where he's had the most success. As a player at Miami, it wasn't so much about the X's and O's. It was about the fact that their team was so uberly loaded with talent that they would take the field and they would win because they had the best team by far, right?
Yeah.
His mentality has not strayed from that. For him, yes, X's and O's matter. Yes, he wants the right coordinators. Yes, he wants the right assistant coaches. But for him, this will always be a talent battle. Can you build the most talented team and have depth behind that so you can survive injuries and everything else? So for me, I don't know that he'll ever get that side of it. It's only through trial and error. It's only through moments where like when he took Oregon on the road and he won at Ohio State, right? That was a moment where, as a coach, he shined. His team went on the road with basically a no-name quarterback and beat a top 5 Ohio State team in their house. Will he get there at the University of Miami? I think so. But it takes the right kind of quarterback. It takes the right kind of offensive coordinator. It takes the depth to survive some of the injuries that this team did not survive this year. So I don't know that he'll ever get there from a game day coach perspective, but I certainly know he's trying to get there from a talent perspective, and I have a lot more faith that he's going to get that right than the other thing right.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Everything else, he's exceptional. He's got to become way better on game day, and then
some guys though can do it with assistants. They have the right coordinators. They just have, like, look at Dabo. He lost Brent Venables, and that thing is completely falling apart. Brent Venables was his right-hand man on defense. That's why Clemson was a great program. Right. So, sometimes you can be a really good head guy who needs great assistants and coordinators around them to lift them to places. That's the way it is.
Let's hope that that's the case there, man, and they're able to turn the corner. What are you working on at The Athletic so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, we're going to have a couple stories on the transfer portal winners and losers and the ACC and the SEC. I've been working on that for the last few days. Obviously, a lot going on with the transfer portal. So we'll have a good summarization of all the teams in the ACC, what they've done that's been good to help the team, what they've done that they haven't helped the team. Same thing with the SEC. That'll be coming out next Wednesday and Thursday. And I have the Cam McCormick story from yesterday. Bruce Feldman and I worked on together. And then we just did a podcast, the Stars Matter podcast, where we spent a lot of time talking about Alabama without Nick Saban. And I think I pissed off a lot of Alabama fans because one of my co-hosts, Ari Wasserman, brought up the fact. He said, well, what is Alabama without Nick Saban? And I said, they're kind of like Auburn to me. They need a great coach. Auburn hasn't had a good coach in a while, and they've kind of fallen apart. And I think Alabama potentially could be the same thing, where they fall apart for a while. So we will see what happens with their new coach, Kalen DeBoer. But so a lot of interesting things to listen to. And at some point here, I'm going to do another podcast, the Wide Right podcast. I just haven't gotten around to recording it yet.
Okay. Yeah. And that guy did a good job at Washington. So we'll see if he can recruit in the South and get it done. Then he should be all right. But clearly he can coach. He did a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah. He can coach. He can work the transfer portal. He is more of a modern-day coach. But he also has never signed a top 200 recruit in his life.
Wow.
So that tells you right there, when you come down, and he's from Sioux Falls, North Dakota, or South Dakota. Sorry, I said North Dakota. South Dakota. And he's never really recruited the Southeast. So there you go.
Okay. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. He's got that killer pickleball game going. Have a great week, my brother. We will catch up today, bro. Be good.
I'll see you, man. Have a good one.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. And when it comes to Caneswear, use our code BIG010. You will get 10% off online or in person. BIG010. Cam McCormick is my hero. Okay, that's all I can tell you. Mike Vrabel, he interviewed with the Chargers. He is now the Falcons have requested an interview. Remember, the Falcons are in the middle of going to be a second interview this weekend with Belichick. So we'll see if they're just kind of going through the process with others. Because it kind of looks like Belichick might end up with the Falcons, but they have no quarterback. You better get a quarterback. If you don't get a quarterback, I don't know. That Belichick stuff, I don't know if it's going to work out. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. We got our entertainers for the Super Bowl. Usher at halftime. Reba McEntire is going to be doing the national anthem. Post Malone and Andra Day. And one of the things that I want to remind people out there, because, you know, I'm a rocker. And so rock people get all bent out of shape sometimes with like, hey, man, how about a rock band, you know, Metallica or Aerosmith or something, whatever, you know, U2, Kiss. Give me a rock band, right? Here's the problem that rockers don't seem to understand. Halftime's about women. And if you haven't figured that out, I can't help you, dude. The Super Bowl is about creating a program that is more in line to bring in a general audience. Because the hardcore football fan's going to watch anyway. So then you do the commercials. The women love the commercials. Right? And it's kind of a thing, even though it's really, they're not as good as they were 20 years ago when they started doing all that kind of shit with Super Bowl commercials. And then the entertainment. It's not geared for rockers or metalheads, because then you would lose a large portion of your audience. And what they want is ratings. They're now selling the halftime show on its own. I believe it goes for like $50 million. Just the halftime show. So you're not going to put, you know, Korn. You're not. Sorry. You're not even going to put Paul McCartney anymore. Those days are over because they have to try to bring in the biggest audience. And the women is what makes the biggest audience. Why do you think the Olympics, what do you see on prime time all the time in the Winter Olympics? Since we're male dominated right now, we have some women watching. I get it, and listening, and we respect them and we appreciate them. But what's the bullshit that most of us men don't want to watch during the Winter Olympics on prime time? And it's on constantly. What is it, ladies and gentlemen? It's ice skating. And most of us don't give a shit about ice skating. It bores the crap out of us. We know they're talented. We know they're gifted. We know they're athletes, all that. But why do they do it? They do it because they need to get the biggest audience possible. And the women are going to watch ice skating and gymnastics and things like that. Men are not going to watch that nearly as much. They'll watch speed skating. They'll watch some of that, not all of it. They'll watch hockey, you know, but figure skating, brother, most men don't want anything to do with that. But the television companies, they want everything to do with that because the ratings are going to be monstrous. And so if you want to have monster ratings, you don't get Metallica. You do this kind of stuff. You go pop, you know, and you should bring Taylor Swift, you know, Beyonce, you know, Rihanna. These are the things that you have to do nowadays. And you're going to bring in a bigger audience overall. So for all you rockers out there, and I'm a rocker at heart, as always, I love all kinds of genres of music, but number one for me will always be rock and metal. Okay? Love a bunch of other genres, but rock and metal but I understand business and I understand what they're trying to do. So for you rockers out there, they got all bent out of shape because I saw it on social media. It's like, you really don't get it. And it's not about you. It's about money. They've got to make money. They've got to have the largest audience so that way they can then charge the most for advertising. It's all about money. And unfortunately, my rock bands aren't going to generate that. Maybe you too, something like that. But even that they don't do. So you're going to go with Imagine Dragons, and you're going to go with, stuff that's going to be more poppy and Bruno Mars. And so, yeah, that's exactly it. So Reba doing the national anthem will win people over. Usher, I mean, he's got the R&B, he's got the smoothness, the dancing, the entertainment, the hits. Women love Usher. I totally understand what they're doing. Okay. And I'm going to watch it. I like Usher, actually. I respect the shit out of Reba McEntire. She's a legend. I'm not much of a country person, especially her kind of country. I like modern country. I kind of get into that. Classic country, I can really do without. It's got to be like Johnny Cash and Charlie Daniels. Like, that's like the very few classic country that I like. Modern country I can listen to a lot. I have no problem with that. I'd even go to a modern country concert and everything. I like modern country. Modern country's pretty cool. But I totally understand. But for you rockers out there, just calm the hell down and stop asking for something that's not going to happen. It's not important for them. It's bad business. Just want to remind you rockers out there, it's bad business. And I don't know why some of you don't get it. Oh, by the way, since I did that, let me throw in a little music and entertainment. What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Let's see. Here we go. Let's start off with birthdays today. How about that? Doing it a little earlier than we normally do it. Birthdays on, wait a minute, today's the 19th, correct? Here we go. Had the wrong one. Dolly Parton. By the way, Liam Eichenberg, one more time. Happy birthday to Liam Eichenberg. Dolly Parton is 78 years old today. Mac Miller, rest in peace, born on this date in 92. We just lost him in 2000. Wow, it's already 18 that Mac Miller passed away 5 years ago. My daughter had me listen to him because I didn't really know any of his music, and he's actually all right. Jodie Sweetin, of course, Full House. She is 42 years old. What else? There's so many littles, and I can't keep up with a lot of the shitty rap that goes on. But some guy named Little Scrappy is 40. Because I know there's Little Yachty and Little John and Little Wayne. And so I don't even know. Is Little Scrappy, do we get thumbs up or thumbs down? Since I have to ask Sean for wrestlers, for you all out there, does Little Scrappy get a thumbs up for rapper or thumbs down as rapper? Because I don't know who the hell Little Scrappy is. Now, I need your approval, Sean. Should we wish a guy by the name of, I love the name, Ron Killings, wrestler, 52. Yes.
Ron Killings is the best thing going today. That is our truth. He's part of Judgment Day. And when he came out as a baby, he told the doctor he was going to be on Judgment Day. And he's lived it up, and now he's a part of Judgment Day. Our truth is the shit.
Okay. Wow. Okay, Ron Killings. Happy birthday, my brother. Great freaking name. Great name. Janis freaking Joplin, dude, was born in this state in 43. We lost her in 1970. What else? Sean Wayans, out of the Waymans brothers. 53 today. Happy birthday to him. Jensen Button, race car driver, is 44 years old today. Paula Dean, the chef, 77. I know she was involved in some hot water. Let's go with music history. Today on January 19th. In 1980, Pink Floyd's The Wall started a 15-week run at number 1 on the albums charts. In 1988, Bon Jovi and Motley Crue's manager Don McGee pleaded guilty to importing more than 40,000 pounds of marijuana to the U.S. from Colombia on a shrimp boat. He received a 5-year suspended prison sentence, a fine of $15,000, and was ordered to set up anti-drug foundations. I mean, he was providing a service for people bringing over 40,000 pounds of weed. Come on. Give him a medal. In 93, Fleetwood Mac reunited to perform at Bill Clinton's ceremonial inauguration for being president. In 88, Metallica began recording their 4th album, And Justice for All. In 2011, Aerosmith's Steven Tyler made his debut as a judge on American Idol. In 94, Axl Rose showed up on time for the 9th Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies to induct Elton John. He also performed Come Together with Bruce Springsteen at the event. It would be the last public appearance until 1998. What an odd dude he is, bro. He's just like totally odd dude. Anyway. All right. Brother, Adele, just to kind of keep it in the music thing. Adele has a thing in Vegas. What's it called? A residency in Vegas. Okay. She's there from January 19th and January 20th here over the weekend. And it's going to run through June 15th. All right. This is the crazy shit. The cheapest ticket you can find for an Adele show is $488 before the fees on Vivid. Prices start anywhere between $548 and $1,217 before fees for all the gigs. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. I like Adele. She is as talented as it gets, dude. What a voice that woman has. Gene Simmons, little music for you also, has set up his first post-Kiss gig, and it'll be January 17th, and it'll be headlining, and he's going to be at the Summer Breeze Brazil Festival. The question I would have for Gene Simmons is, does he play A World Without Heroes? That's one song that one of my favorite Kiss songs is A World Without Heroes. It's from the Elder album. And I've never heard it live. Ever. Live. Like I've been to a bunch of Kiss concerts over the years. Never saw A World Without Heroes. And I wonder if he does it on his solo shows because he's the one that sings A World Without Heroes. Love that song. If any of you, even if you're Kiss or you're not a Kiss fan, just do me a favor. Kiss A World Without Heroes. Listen to it. It's a short song. It's like maybe 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes long, I think. Maybe 3:10. I don't know. It's not really very long, but it is a very cool song. By the way, George Lynch, which I saw George Lynch at Piper's Pub a couple of months ago. And George Lynch has announced that the Lynch Mob will be touring for the final time. And the good thing is, if you're a Lynch Mob fan, you are actually going to have a South Florida date. How about that? So Lynch Mob fans, if you want to see a little Dokken action, which is the band he created after Dokken broke up, let me tell you something. When I saw George Lynch recently at Piper's Pub, he was touring with 2 different singers. One of the guys does a great Don Dokken. Like, it's pretty close. And he sounds really, really good. So they've put out some dates. I'm trying to pull it up here, but my internet, I don't know why. Well, it's really this iPad is old. So it's really not the internet because the internet's fine, overall. But I'll give you the dates here in Florida. Mount Dora, Florida, which I have no idea where Mount Dora, Florida is, at the Mount Dora Hall. It's going to be on March 21st. Oh, March 20th, Pompano Beach. It'll be at the Arion. Fort Myers on the March 22nd at the Buddha Live. March 23rd, Clearwater, Florida, OCC Roadhouse. March 24 in Boca, Crazy Uncle Mike's. I think I'm going to go to both. I think I'm going to go see him in Pompano at Arion. I've never been there. Anybody know what Arion is in Pompano? Or is that Piper's? I wonder, because is there another small rock club in Pompano? And then I've never been to Crazy Uncle Mike's in Boca. I've gone to the Funky Biscuit in Boca. But if you want to see a little George Lynch, a little Lynch mob, you can do that too. Okay. What else do we have here? You got Tool tonight, by the way, at Hard Rock Live at 8 o'clock. Tomorrow, Heat fans, tonight you celebrate Udonis Haslem's retirement. Tomorrow you can catch Ronnie Cycli at Club Space spinning it. Yes, sir, Sean.
So it looks like it's part of the Orlando Kissimmee area, Mount Dora. So it's up in Orlando area. It's about 40 minutes from Orlando, out in that area.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. Never even heard of the place. Next Friday, not this Friday, not today, next Friday, 50 Cent is at the Dare in Hollywood. I've never been there either. And next Friday is Tiesto for you DJ people at Live Nightclub. Tonight, across the state in Fort Myers, is Kansas. I'm going to see them when they come here in another week. When they're here in South Florida, I'll be at the Kansas concert, just in case. By the way, the New Orleans Jazz Festival was announced, and the lineup is absolutely sick. Love the lineup. The Rolling Stones, Foo Fighters, Chris Stapleton, if you like him, Neil Young and Crazy Horse, The Killers. I'm not a John Batiste, but he's there. Queen Latifah, Greta Van Fleet, Heart, Trombone Shorty, Bonnie Raitt, Earth, Wind, and Fire, although they're a shell of what they used to be. Fantasia's there, the Revitalists, the Beach Boys. I mean, Joe Bonamassa, George Thorogood, Jeffrey Osborne. Let's see who else. I mean, they are the Wallflowers. Tower of Power, the Robert Cray Band. Robert Cray is so freaking good. If you've never seen Robert Cray live, you should treat yourself to that. He is a fantastic blues guitarist. Patrice Rushen, Forget Me Nots. Holy shit. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band? Damn. What else? Yeah, that's about it of some of the names, at least that I know of. There's a whole ton, but that is a pretty damn good festival, April 25th through May 5th. Be pretty cool to see. So just in case, there you go. There you go, a little entertainment for you, a little entertainment, a little music. Bitcoin, by the way, continues to go down. 40,475. It is down 3.2%. That is a beautiful, I mean, an absolutely beautiful thing. Others would be concerned. I, on the other hand, look at it like an absolute blessing. Ooh, and right now, hey, Thaler, Kryptonite is at 7.5 cents. That's the lowest it's been, baby. That is awesome. Neutron climbing down to 119. It's getting to my buying zone. Love it. Van Aert chain getting to my buying zone. It's at 5.8. Whew. Like it. Like it. Some look at it as a negative. Others look at it as a beautiful opportunity. That's all I can tell you. Let's see. Any super chats? I think a super chat came in that I might have skipped. Oh, yes. Ty the Kid. There he is. Thank you, Ty the Kid. I appreciate you. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can send in your questions, comments, insults, and even a compliment. By the way, speaking of compliments, enjoyed the hell out of the Reacher episode last night. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I really enjoyed the season. Ty the Kid is asking, morning, Big O. I find it hard to believe that Tua won't learn from this season and have a bounce back. I'm not worried about Tua. The only thing, look, last year I was pissed that Tua did not play smart by taking care of his body and getting rid of the football, right? I said he needs to learn how to get rid of the football. And I had, you guys are listening right now. Some of you listening right now were the ones saying he'll never stay healthy again. He's concussion prone. He's injury prone, yada, yada, yada. And I fought all of that and said that has nothing to do with it. It has to do with him taking care of his body and getting rid of the football and living for the next play. He did that exactly, and he played all 18 games this year, correct? Okay. This year, I'm pissed that he threw way too many interceptions. And that's the stuff that he's got to corral and control. And I have no concerns about that at all. Okay? My concern is, can Mike McDaniel become a better coach so you can actually win more games? Because he's winning because he's got a talented roster. But I need him to be a difference maker and win some games that you're not supposed to win. And win and make sure that when you're up by 14 with 3 minutes left, that you don't lose games like that either. Against any team, not just the Titans. So my problem is more for the team-wise and them having success. For me, it's all on coaching. Coaching has to get better so your players can get better. That's the way I look at it right now. To me, the difference and the weakness right now is Mike McDaniel figuring it out. And as I told you yesterday, when we shared several nuggets throughout the show, he's feeling it. He's hurting. He feels he let people down this year. So that's good. That's a really good thing. But he, unlike Tua, where Tua will attack something and improve his body and stay healthy and get rid of the football and all. And so next year, I want him to be a little smarter with be a lot smarter with the football and not throw some of those stupid interceptions that he threw, because that's not his game. But I expect him to improve on that. Whereas Mike McDaniel has not proven to me from one year to another that he is willing to learn enough, because habits were still there from year one to year two. And that shit's got to disappear. You could tell me you're going to do something, but if you don't have a track record of actually really doing things like that you say you're going to do, it's hard for me to believe you. It's hard for me to have faith in you. So my real problem is Mike McDaniel right now. I need him to correct this thing, because at the end of next season, it's not going to be pretty if the same stuff happens. So I'm with you, Ty. I have no concerns about Tua. Zero concerns. But I will be critical and say, you threw too many damn interceptions, bro. Unacceptable. Just like last year, unacceptable holding on to the football. I was very critical of him holding on to the football. I kept telling it's dumb. He was putting himself at risk. And we call it like we see it here. You may not agree, whatever, that's fine. Don't care. I'm not here to convince you. You know what I'm saying? Said that many times, and I'm sure I'll have to say it a lot of times over the offseason. I'm not here to convince you. So Mike McDaniel's the one that's got to convince me now.
But there's no way I would ever fire him because he's the best coach you've had here since Shula. He's got a great offensive mind. He just needs to learn how to become a more disciplined coach. That's what he's got to learn. Let's see. What else do we have on the... let me check Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which we always love our Bitcoin donations. Joe Cracciola on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Big O, you going to the Tool concert tonight at the Guitar Hotel. Hope to see you there. Don't think I'm going to go. Tickets were so expensive. Where are they now? You know, that's my problem with it. It's just, man, it's hard to go to concerts at Hard Rock. I love going to Hard Rock, but sometimes the tickets are absolutely brutal. And right now, let's see. Yeah, they're in the couple hundred range, 300 range. Yeah, I just I've seen Tool before, but no, I probably won't go tonight, to be quite honest. A little too much for me, unfortunately. But Joe, enjoy it, my brother. Well deserved. It's going to be a hell of a concert. So, bro, I got the ultimate conspiracy theory. You ready for it? My heart tape is we let Wilkins, what? And now it disappeared. Edward Thurston House says, don't throw to Tyreek 80% of the time. You got 5 other wide receivers on the team and tight ends. Yeah. That's where the coach has to change his game plan so he stops influencing the quarterback, because the quarterback, the other thing I would be critical of Tua is he needs to start thinking for himself, because the coach is not putting you up in positions to be successful all the time. In fact, the coach is putting you in positions to be unsuccessful. Okay? As I told you, he plays Tua like a gunslinger. That's not what Tua is. You don't play Tua. You don't play Drew Brees and Bob Greasy like gunslingers. You don't. That's not smart. Especially a young Drew Brees, a young Tua. You know, they're still growing and learning. It's things that Mike McDaniel doesn't make any sense. So, anyway, no, Ralph, Danny Crossman has not been fired yet, and I next week is when the big coaching stuff goes on. Maybe we hear something next week. I think it'll be kind of quiet right now, as it is. What else do we have? Mr. Majestic, he hires an agent to get him the most. He only takes a cut if Dolphins don't ask him. The agent is the one that's going to take the Dolphins to the woodshed. Okay? And that's what's going to end up happening. Jose Cabrera, his play calling has to get better, which also is the cause for some of those injuries. Well, keeping Chubb in there is, not smart. Troy, don't you ever consider Tua just I don't, Troy. That's you. I'm not here to convince you, bro. So I don't give a shit what you think, Troy. I really don't, bro. I already know where you're coming from. I always know where you're coming from. That's like set in stone where you come from. So it doesn't really matter, bro. You're wasting your time. Put it that way. What else? If already there with McDaniel, I can't stand hearing him. Well, McDaniel has to fix some stuff. He's got a lot of potential, man. Let's give him another chance here, and let's see if he can figure this shit out. I'm very frustrated myself with McDaniel. Incredibly frustrated with McDaniel. I think he calls a terrible game. I think he's irresponsible. I think he just thinks of putting up big stats and big numbers, and he's thinking of big plays, and he doesn't learn how to matriculate down the field. And that's my problem with him. So as bright as he is, which he is very smart, he's not smart in how he designs a game plan and attacks an opponent. And he's not smart enough to counter, which kind of sucks. That's a real weakness in his game. And let me tell you something. If he doesn't figure it out next year, you can't keep him as a head coach. A head coach that doesn't have a counter, yeah, that's not good. Prices are outrageous for concerts these days. I remember going to concerts for $20 in the 80s. Yeah, it's crazy nowadays, man. Big O, where do you buy kryptonite and neutron? Crypto.com, bro. Crypto.com. I don't use OKCoin. They don't even have a bank anymore in the United States. Can't use OKCoin. Go to crypto.com. I've mentioned it several times. And again, I mentioned this. Any coin you're interested in, Jamie, all of you out there, go to coinmarketcap.com. Save it on your bookmarks or whatever it is that they call it, favorites. Okay? Coinmarketcap.com. Put in any coin and scroll about halfway, and you'll see all the platforms and DeFis that sell it. That way you'll know where it's sold. Okay? So any coin you're looking for, any coin we talk about, you put it in coinmarketcap.com and then scroll down and you'll see where it's being sold. And that will always help you out. Okay? Oh, little Scrappy's name isn't even close to NHL player Patrick Verbeek, whose name was Little Ball of Hate. Now that's a freaking name. Let's see. Why is Tua the only one not allowed to make mistakes? I don't get it. Because those people never believed in Tua, so they need anything to try to justify it. So they're all dying to justify it. Like Troy Ortiz, dying to justify it. Anybody who's old enough to remember Marino was only in 3 title games in 17 years. And he didn't win road games because it's hard to win on the road in the playoffs. But, whatever, bro. It is what it is. No, I would say that by the way, Jose, every QB is a system QB. That's the dumbest shit in the world. Okay? That's the dumbest shit in the world. If you're going to run an RPO, are you going to do it with Tom Brady and you're going to do it with Peyton Manning? They don't fit that system. Right? So certain guys you're going to run an RPO with. You're not really going to make them a pure pocket passer because that system don't fit them either. Right? You're going to make Cam Newton a pocket passer? You're going to make him run Peyton Manning's offense? No, because he's not that system. That's the dumbest shit in the world. Okay? Let me educate you guys a little bit there so you don't sound stupid because we hear that all the time. Oh, he's a system. Everybody's a system. Some players fit in a 3-4 and they don't fit in a 4-3. That's just the way it is. Some corners can only play in a zone. That's their system. Some guys can play only on man. Some guys can play both. Everybody fits a system. And very few fit any system because they can't. They don't have the skill set. That's why they have systems, ladies and gentlemen, because they have different skill sets and different talents. I mean, it's simple. That's why this is the reason why I keep telling you that Mike McDaniel plays Tua like he's Brett Favre. He plays Tua like Dan Marino with Don Shula. And will Tua ever be Marino? Not in his fucking dreams. But you got to understand who the talent is. And then you figure out what system they fit. Everybody is a system player. Stop doing that to yourselves. Some guys are in a zone blocking scheme, and some guys can handle man-on-man. Or vice versa. The guy that handles man on man cannot play in a zone, doesn't have the athleticism. Everybody pretty much is a system player. Okay? Stop with that shit already. That's why they have systems, because some players fit some systems and other players like Agba doesn't fit this system. What do you think? It's only the QB? This is the stupid shit that goes on all the time. And some of you still don't freaking get it. Craig Sebring, thank you for the love in the super chat. Big O, hope McDaniel gives up the play calling. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You can forget about that. Not going to happen. He'll be the guy. He has to fix it, and he knows it. He knows it. He knows it badly. And this is the part I can't confirm for you, but he's got to know that his ass is on the line by the end of next season. He has to know it. Okay? His teams have flopped the last 2 years at the end of the year. His play calling, his game management has been dog shit. He's got to get better. He knows it. He knows it, whether it's leaving Chubb out on the field, whether it's not rushing to get to the line of scrimmage so the coach doesn't throw the flag on the opposing side because Tyreek didn't catch the ball. The guy's feeling it. He's feeling his mistakes. Okay? So apparently people have expressed his mistakes to him in that building. He's well aware of his shortcomings, supposedly, is what I'm told. But again, like I told you earlier, prove it to me, my man. Please prove it to me that you can attack your deficiencies and change them. That's the only thing that he has not proven to me. Tua has, he hasn't. Brooklyn Rob says, remember, after you buy crypto, move it to a cold storage wallet. Do not have it on the exchange you purchased it on. Exactly. Okay. I can tell you this, on crypto.com, what I do is I build up a certain amount because I don't move everything I buy. If I buy $50, I'm not moving it. You know what I mean? I'll wait till I build up $300, $400, $500, $700 and then move it. You know, that's what I do. Don't move it on because that's expensive because you're paying gas fees. So that takes away from your overall profits. But you do want to collect and I will tell you this, at least for crypto.com, I'll speak on crypto.com because I've gone through it for the last 3 years. Never had a problem. And FTX and Gemini and all these different exchanges were having trouble, and even Binance, not crypto.com, never, ever had an issue, ever. So I give them a lot of credit. They probably are one of the more stand-up places. So I've had good fortunes throughout the last 3 years that I'm able to, I don't keep my crypto on there, but I do collect, if I'm buying $20 here of kryptonite and then $50 over here. And then, a week later, I'm buying another. I'm going to keep accumulating until I get several $100s, and then I'll move over my kryptonite to my wallet. That's kind of what I'll do. But if I bought $50, I'm not moving it right away. So let's also, while Brooklyn Rob is 1,000% right, make sure you do have, it's safe enough to pile up a little bit before you move it. Put it that way. At least that's been my experience for 3 years. And if it didn't have any trouble during the bear market, it's certainly not going to have any trouble nowadays. It's gone through the tough times and survived and thrived, which is pretty damn impressive. Let's see what else. The system decides if the QB will be successful for sure. A lot of times, yes. Good point, where Payne went to Denver, all of a sudden that offense looked, the offense looked great early, and then he broke down is what really happened with him. Bob Greasy, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson have won. Tua, I'm not worried at all about Tua. Even Russell Wilson, like, he throws that interception, right? But I blame him for listening to his coach. Like, there was no reason to throw that ball. And that's the moment where you got to tell your coach, F that, dude. Hey, Marshawn, let's finish this shit. And those are the moments that kind of drive you crazy a little bit. And that's where your coach sets up. And then you don't want to be a dick and go against your coach. And then when you go with your coach, look what ends up happening. It was a terrible call. There was no reason ever to go for that play. And it makes Russell look bad. And these are the moments that I want Tua to avoid. You got to think for yourself. Sometimes the guy on the sidelines doesn't know everything and doesn't call the right. And the guy on the field general, nobody has a better feel for what's going on in the game than the guy that's throwing the ball. And I think that guy that's throwing the ball needs to think for himself at times. And Tua's not doing that. And I think he needs to do a little bit more of that. McDaniel's trying to make Tua something he's not. He is very accurate QB, but does not have the best arm. If we get him in a good, consistent O-line, he will pick every defense apart and be an MVP. Exactly. But if you want to make him throw 50 times a game and deep shots constantly, the hardest passing game in the NFL is the Miami Dolphins. You've got the wrong quarterback for that, bro. You've got the wrong quarterback for that. The guys that the passing game that he wants to run, only Mahomes and Burrow can run it in the NFL. No one else. There's no one else that I would gunsling with. No one. If Aaron was healthier and younger, I would go with Aaron Rodgers. Not anymore. 2 guys left. You want to do what Dan Fouts did. You want to do what Dan Marino did. You want to do what John Elway did. You want to do the things that Kurt Warner could do. There's only a few of those in the last 50 years. There's only 2 right now in the NFL. And Tua is not one. And I'm a Tua guy. But McDaniel is, again, it's just, brother, Mostert, and you're 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And, brother, go back to Mostert. What are you doing? Why are you getting cute? And that's where you put your quarterback, your team in positions to fail. And that's why I blame it on him, because he doesn't understand the talent that he has. And he's so eager to prove to everybody that he's Mr. Offense and Mr. Passing and points and yards that he loses sight of what he actually has in front of him. And so it's 3rd and 1. Keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. No need to get cute. Just hand it off, bro. Stay nice and boring, but effective, and keep the drive alive. Now you killed the drive. Now you killed your team. So you got to understand your player so you can understand the system that is best suited for him. Need to play Tua like Brady, and Brady had always good dose of run in every Super Bowl, whether it was LeGarrette Blount or Fournette, and the short passing game, Matthew. The short passing game is not Flo used it all the time because that's all they did. And Tua did plenty of that in the short passing with all kinds of receivers. Why can't you do it with this guy? It's the lazy excuse. Nobody's open. That's bullshit. People are open, and people can be schemed open. And as I've said earlier, Tyreek and Waddle are exceptional playmakers. They're also exceptional decoys. You've already sold it to the league that you want to just throw to Tyreek. Well, then look to Tyreek and go somewhere else. Gear the double team to him and then go somewhere else. Pretty simple. It's not that difficult. That's why I told you the playmaking tight end will be here this year. They will find him in the offseason. Guaranteed they will find a playmaking tight end. They need that element on this team badly. So it will happen. One way or another, they will get a playmaking tight end. They have to find one, develop one, whatever, but they've got to get a playmaking tight end. So, let's see. Does Tua even have a check down option? No, they don't do it that way. Right. There are things about the offense that are poorly designed. And the short passing game and the dump offs like that, that's something that is definitely missing. A huge element that is missing in this game, along with the tight end. So McDaniel over coaches for too often during a game. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that. You can definitely say that. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. And of course, you can always make a Bitcoin donation. And there's a nice dip in Bitcoin right now. Beautiful time to make a Bitcoin donation and send in a comment or a question or a complaint or anything along those lines. Let's go to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. And of course, Alan Blanco and the great people at 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443, custom printing and embroidery. I loved watching that game last night, number 23 FAU over Wichita State. You know, I'm not a big college basketball guy anymore. Back in the 80s and the 90s, man, college basketball was one of my favorite sports. Okay? That's when they used to have like real stars and things like that. So I don't watch a lot of college basketball. If I'm going to watch anything college basketball, it's really our local teams. So I'll watch the U, and I'll watch FIU, and I'll watch FAU. And if I could catch Nova, also, I'll do a little bit of that. I'll watch our local teams just because, hey, man, I'm a hometown guy, and I love my hometown teams. I enjoyed the shit out of that game last night. That was fun as hell. I really got a kick out of the atmosphere. That was awesome. Elijah Martin, 4 of 6 from three-point range, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. John L. Davis, who's been a stud there, 19 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. They've got the University of Texas San Antonio on Sunday at 3 o'clock on the road. So good luck to the number 23 team in the country. Tonight at 8:10, they will retire Udonis Haslem's jersey, where he was a key figure in this championship series in 2006. So we wear this hat in honor of UD. 8:10 tonight, Atlanta and Miami at the Kaseya Center. Miami is favored by 6. Minnesota is visiting Florida. Things will get wild at Amerant Bank Arena. The Panthers are favored by 1.5. Can they snap their 3-game losing streak? Syracuse will host the University of Miami men's basketball team on Saturday at noon. Let's hope they can get back on the winning track. And Nova Southeastern University will be visiting St. Leo University up in, is that Martin County? Is St. Leo in Martin County or Port St. Lucie? I want to say. Anyway, 13-2, 7-2 in the conference, and Nova's 2-2 on the road. So let's hope Coach Crutchfield and folks can get it done. So that is your 3A Graphics sports calendar, custom printing and embroidery. Call them 786-618-1443. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. John Young, thank you, sir, for the love on Venmo. Would TB12 or Manning, after a big L, ask the other QB for his jersey? Nope, not at all. But that's what they do in today's world. I get it, bro. You're old school like I am. Kind of, you know what? We're going to go back to the rocker conversation in the Super Bowl, okay? For those that don't get it, like John Young, it's what they do now, bro. They ask for jerseys. It's the soccer thing. It's rolled over into football. What can I tell you? Flopping came from soccer, and it went in thanks to Vlade Divac's patient zero. He brought it to the NBA and then the rest of our American sports, except for hockey. Hockey really doesn't flop much.
but the other sports have picked up flopping. So that's what it is, my brother. Today's people are completely different than what Manning and Brady grew up. They grew up hating each other, rivalry. You know what I mean? So there was no way that that was going to happen. In today's world, these guys are going to play with each other all the time because free agency, you're going to see them switch over, and you might be enemies in 1 year, and then the next year you're playing with each other on the same team, dude. You know, you're lining up next to the guy that you hated. You know, it's just the way it is. So it's that soccer thing now that they ask for each other's jerseys and all that kind of crap. You know, so what can I tell you? That's their style. Would I want my opponent's jersey? No, I want to kick his ass. I don't want anything to do with my opponent. But I'm 57. I grew up in a completely different era of life. Period. End of story. I was just talking about this the other day when we were talking about Top Gun indoor range, and we were talking about, please get a safe for your guns, right? Because kids are kind of stupid nowadays. They are. We weren't that stupid. Just didn't happen. Nobody locked their guns when we were kids. There was no need. We understood boundaries. We knew that if we just touched the gun, the level of ass kicking that we were going to get, we weren't going to touch the gun. It wasn't worth touching the gun. You waited till your dad had the gun, and then, let me go shooting with you, or he taught you how to clean the gun or whatever. Normal things. But we grew up in a different environment. Now you can't leave your guns around because kids are stupid. They just are. In general, they do stupid things. It wasn't like, did it happen when we were young? Of course, those kind of mistakes happen. But did it happen like it happens now? Not even close. It's a different world. And so you and I would want nothing from our opponents. Nothing. Animosity is the only thing that will exist. Okay? But that's just not the way it is nowadays. So that's why I can't laugh at it or pick at it or anything. It's just I got to understand that these people are wired different than we are. That's all. So I get it. It's just a different world. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. John Young once again with the love on Venmo. Thank you, sir. He says Josh Allen and Mahomes won't ask for jerseys on Sunday. Probably not, because that one's been kind of a heated rivalry. Yeah, that's the Bengals and the Chiefs are more of a rivalry, but the Bills and the Chiefs have had their personal, issues. So, yes, I don't think that that's going to necessarily happen between those guys. Yeah. Tua's he's just a good human being, a nice person. He's not a guy that has evil in his heart or, it's just, that's not who he is. So, certain people are like that. Tim Tebow is not going to have hate for people. It's just the way it is. Russell Wilson's not going to have hate for people. Just kind of certain people are wired that way. Kurt Warner, not really going to be a spiteful person. Mark Brunell, very religious, will not be a spiteful person. I could go on and talk about different players that they can compartmentalize and they play the game. And then after that, they're back to normal human beings and very accepting of others around them. We cannot pick on people just because they're different than us. That doesn't mean that they can't excel and have success in anything that they do because they're serious or they joke around more or they're more religious or, it's just
Everybody's wired differently. There's no right way or wrong way to do things. You know what I mean? There is an irresponsible way of doing things that's wrong. But what I mean is your personality, that really will not necessarily dictate whether you're going to win or lose. It's your commitment to trying to win is what's going to determine that. And so if you look at Tua, okay, so you're worried about a jersey. You think maybe, oh, that's kind of soft or whatever, right? Okay, so you're going to come back from a broken hip like he did? Are you gonna bust up both your ankles and say, let's wrap titanium rods around them so it never happens again? You got a broken rib, thanks to Jesse Davis, and a thumb, and you're still playing games. You get concussed, and you still want to stay in the game. That's the mother effer that I want on my team. You see what I'm saying? So try to separate, the jersey bullshit to the guy that is fearless and has gone through all kinds of setbacks, even had a coach that hated him, told him he hated him and didn't want him, and he still won more than he lost, and he still threw more touchdowns than interceptions, and he still got it done overall in the worst situation possible. So if you want toughness, Tua's proven toughness all over the place. Oh, he's concussed. He can't stay healthy. F you all. I'm going to build up my body. I'm going to learn how to fall. And there you are. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you look at who you're talking about, not how they carry themselves, or if they're too religious, or if they're very respectful of other people or something, and you think that that's a weakness. It's just the way it is. People are different, man. And there are plenty of people that are nice as hell, and they don't have animosity for anybody. And then there are other people that use that animosity as fuel. And some people create animosity for fuel, like Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan would make shit up. Nobody ever said he couldn't or he wasn't or he could. Maybe they did when he broke his ankle and he was young or something like that. But after you found out who was Michael Jordan, he invented the rest of the bullshit because nobody was doubting that guy. But he made it all about, whatever. And that's just part of his fuel. Everybody's wired differently, man. They just are. I just don't think it's fair to judge the young man because of the jersey thing, or the other day, some guy was it yesterday, day before, because he's too religious or something. That's silly shit, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. John Young again. Nice guys finish last. Drew Brees finished first. He's a nice guy, right? Russell Wilson finished first. He's a nice guy. Kurt Warner's religious. He won a championship and took Arizona to another Super Bowl. It's pretty religious. Very religious is Kurt Warner. Not sure. I don't know about that nice guy. That nice guy thing. Yeah, that's not working out, my man. That's not working out. I can name a whole bunch. Sweetness. I met Walter Payton. Everybody dealt with Walter Payton. Walter Payton talked lighter than Mike Tyson and was the gentlest human being on the planet. I don't know how do you think he was on the field? Reggie White is as religious, and rest in peace, as it gets. Played with a nasty streak, right? And off the field, brother, Reggie White is straight as a pin. Straight as a pin. Straight as a pin.
talking ultra religious. There ain't no alcohol, no drugs. It's family, it's faith, and then football. Or maybe faith and family, then football for him. So I've seen a lot of nice guys that have finished first also. You know? So I would disagree with you on that one, John. And that's also a very dangerous area that you're trying to weave through, because there's a lot of guys that go look at the Chargers. Oh God, what's his name from the 60s in the AFL? Oh, Jesus Christ. What's his name? They called him Bambi. One of the great receivers of all times. Please, somebody help me. Somebody that's a little older. It's got Lance Allworth. Lance Allworth was as religious as it gets. Soft-spoken. One of the best receivers to ever play the game. You know? I would not ever. And by the way, you're talking about football, which it's dominated by Black Americans. And I don't know if you know this, but the Black culture, woo, doggy. There's a lot of them there that are very religious. Very religious. You know, you get caught up with any of the party boys in the NFL, but there's a lot of people in the NFL. You wouldn't think of it because you don't talk to them personally, but it's a lot of them that are very religious, man. They just happen to play a brutal. I mean, if you play the game, you got to have an edge. You know, John, you got to have an edge if you play football. You cannot be soft to the core if you play football. It's impossible. If you are, you're going to get exposed and you'll be out of the league within, weeks, a year. So I think you're treading in very dangerous waters by accusing somebody that is decent, nice, or religious that's not the way, and you're going to finish last. I don't think that that's good. Yeah. Let's see. Hockey has the embellishment penalty, which is like flopping. Ekblad got called for it the other night. Right. But it doesn't have it but they don't flop like the rest of the, like the NBA now does. You know what I mean? Or soccer. Soccer is just an absolute joke what they do. Roger Staubach was religious and nice and was a killer with 2 minutes on the clock. Yes, sir. Went to serve and everything. It doesn't get any more straight than Roger Staubach. That's another great example of a very religious man who was deep in his faith, and anybody wants Roger the Dodger as their quarterback. Anybody. That's a slice of Americana right there when we talk about Roger Staubach. Roger Staubach, I'll go opposite of you, sir, on this one. As religious as he is and as nice as he is, I think Roger Staubach is one of the greatest examples of being an American. Serving for your country, being an ultimate team player, being successful, being a leader. I think Roger Staubach showed every great quality that any man should strive to be. Put it that way. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not much of a religious guy, but this is a guy that I admire. I admire everything about Rod, and I don't care about the Cowboys. But growing up watching, the Doomsday Defense and all those Cowboy teams, how do you not admire the shit out of Roger Staubach? It's like Cal Ripken, It's Tony Gwynn. It's just, there's certain guys you just, damn, dude, you do everything right, Like to see kids today go up on a roof and adjust the terrestrial antenna while dad stays inside the house yelling to you, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. No, it's too much. You had it there.
Yeah, those were the days. Big O, what happened to Nick Needham? Brother, he came back from an Achilles injury. This is why all these people, oh no, they'll get Chubb and Phillips back next year. At some point, halfway through the season. They won't be out all year. I love those people. And then they think that Chubb and Phillips are going to come back and just like pick up where they left off. It's freaking hilarious. Like, no, this is, we're playing video games. You fell, you lost your man. He pops up, back up again. He's back to normal. No. This coming season will be the season that you'll see if Nick Needham can come back, especially with an Achilles injury. That's even worse than a knee injury. But that's what happened to the kid. He came back from an Achilles injury. He's got to have this whole year of building the strength back up again, building the confidence back up again, and getting that edge that you had when you can cut and move and all that. So the offseason for Nick Needham, let's all pray and hope for the best for Nick. It's this offseason and this season coming up. This is where when training camp starts, when mini camps start and all that, that's when Nick Needham should start to prove to people, hey, I'm back to being the guy. But I didn't expect much from him and I don't expect much from Chubb and Phillips next year either. I think it's unfair. I think whatever they give you is like a bonus of all bonuses. You have to sign Andrew Van Ginkel. Look, let's talk a little bit about this offseason. There are things that are going to go on for this team that they have to do. They're going to clear out salaries. Yes, we've talked about Ogba. We've talked about Wilkins, right? We've talked about guys that are gone. Okay, Jerome Baker's probably gone. There's going to be guys that are going to be gone, and then there are guys, and we touched on it a little bit with Cam, guys that are very important. Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be one of the most important people that you re-sign this offseason because of Phillips and Chubb. You need that pass rush. Now, he's also coming off an injury. Now, it's not as serious as the injury these guys have. So you're going to have to pay him a little bit, but it's worth it because he's proven that he's a player. I don't really understand why he even became a free agent. And that happens because you're in transition with coaches and you don't know what they want to keep. And even I've always been an AVG fan. I don't understand how he even became a free agent. And I don't even know how other teams didn't see what I saw. And some of you out there that are on the AVG bandwagon with me since day one, because that guy's been a playmaker since he got here. He just makes plays. So you got to sign him. Okay, and then you've got to sign Liam Eichenberg. And you've got to sign Kendall Lamb. So as much as everybody loves to talk about frontline players, some of these guys become frontline players and they're key backups or key rotational, as AVG has became this year, a key rotational player in the defensive line, right? So when you start looking at the plan for this offseason, of course, you want to try to hit free agency. Of course, you're going to try to hit on draft picks. Of course, you're going to try to find undrafted free agent players. But on your roster, I think Deshaun Elliott, he dealt with injuries on the back end. I actually like what he did as a backup safety at times. Elijah Campbell's another guy that I think another guy you want to, there's going to be some key backups. Chris Brooks is a guy that I really like. I want to bring him back. Julian Hill, I think he's under contract anyway. But Julian Hill's another guy that was developing. I'd like to see where he can go next year. Maybe challenge Smythe for number 2. Maybe if you don't bring in a number 1 and you can't find it because they've tried the first 2 years and they've missed. Let's say you don't have success. Can Julian Hill take that next step? But he did show you something. You know what I mean? So it's not so much about what the plan is for the obvious stuff. Hey, Derrick Henry, like we talked about yesterday, right? Oh, hey, are you going to bring back Wilkins or not? And as we told you, he ain't coming back.
He's not coming back, right? So those are the obvious names. But the lesser obvious names, those are names you guys are going to have to figure out and focus on because those are going to be important. Kendall Lamb, oh my God, dude, with Teron Armstead, you must have Kendall Lamb on this team. You must. You got to, unless they're offering somewhere else, and God bless him, he's been in the league 8 years or something, and if he needs to get paid, you can't blame him, right? I mean, we all got to take care of our families. But part of the plan moving forward will be some of these key guys that have helped out this team. That's why I told you, I like Jeff Wilson, but we've seen that Jeff Wilson has some limitations. And you kind of need to change a little bit on the power side. That's why I'm saying I go Derrick Henry now. That's what I would do. Something like that. And then I'd keep Chris Brooks and I'd let go Jeff Wilson. So that's like $2 million that you can swing over to pay for Derrick Henry. So it's $2 million less that you're going to have to pay Derrick Henry. But you're going to have to keep some key backups. They're important players. I thought Craycraft was very important. The shoulder injury kind of took away from what he did last year. And he's a guy I really want to bring back because I think River Craycraft was more the guy last year. The guy we saw this year after the injury was not the same player. I want to bring him back. I want to use him as one of my third or fourth guys too to kind of help out in the offense. Chase Claypool. Is there a future for Chase? Can you find a way to bring a physical player into this mix? Because Cedric is gone. So now you've got a chance to have Chase here the entire offseason. I want a playmaking tight end to play off of Tyreek and Waddle. I want Derrick Henry so he can play off of Tyreek and Waddle. And the tight end, right? And then I want a guy like River because his job becomes so much more easier when Tyreek and Waddle and a playmaking tight end and either Derrick Henry or Mostert are in the backfield. Because all of a sudden, you've got to pay attention to so much there that River Craycraft is going to be going against the fourth corner. And that's where Mike McDaniel, you got to make it look like you're scheming for all those guys, but you're really scheming for River Craycraft or whoever that third receiver is. But that's what a real coordinator does. You don't go drunk on, let's just throw to Tyreek, and then you're forcing it. Did you watch Hard Knocks? What's he doing walking up and down the line, telling it, ride me. Come on, ride me. That's too much. I understand what he's doing. God bless him. He wants to be the guy. He wants to carry. He wants to lead his team. He wants to make plays, all that stuff. And you can say all that, but I need you to spread the ball around. And it's as useful for me to use Tyreek as to also use him as a decoy. So when you're building this team again next year, right, everybody's going to talk about the pieces on the forefront. You need to talk about the pieces that are behind the scenes, some of them that are incredibly important to the success of this team, and they are insurance policies that you desperately need. Because Kendall Lamb is needed. You saw what happened 2 years ago without Kendall Lamb. It was a nightmare every time Armstead was out. Every single time. Can't have that again, man. So guys like Kendall Lamb, guys like, I think, either Deshaun Elliott or Elijah Campbell as backup safeties, I think they're important. I think guys like River Craycraft is important. The Julian Hills, the Chris Brooks, the Liam Eichenbergs. Very important, the Liam Eichenbergs. Oh, man, that is important.
Let's see. How about our Rio left guard instead of playing a round robin? Well, actually, Wynn was playing well until he got injured. They actually found their left guard. He was doing a good job. In my opinion, the 2 years with Flores wasted. The inability to get a coaching staff for Flores, the Tua injury, the offensive line, the injuries last season. Yeah, that's it. Those 2 years set the team back. They did not get move forward. We don't blame Greer, Allen, or McKenzie is what you mean. We have been a very competent front office haul ass out here. Yeah, no, the front office has been terrific. To me, the real problem is the coaching right now. The coaching has not been able to really maximize what he has on the field. That's been the issue. I think my offseason wish for the 6th season in a row will be draft a real center. You know, I haven't taken the time yet to look completely into the draft. I have to do that. And I don't know all the juniors that are coming out. So I don't know what the center position is like coming out. So I'm not sure at 21 if there's somebody worthy, or is it more in the second or third rounds? Because as you know, there aren't normally a lot of centers you take in the first round. Like if you're a center that goes in the first round, you're pretty special. Oh, by the way, I shouldn't even say third round. They don't have a third round. Dolphins have a 4th round. That's what they have. The NFL, by the way, will keep the scouting combine in Indy in 2025. And the stupidity in Pittsburgh is over. Art Rooney has announced that Mike Tomlin's contract will be extended. Why was this an issue? Like, it's the Rooneys. Like, the Steelers are really a smart organization overall. They are maybe the best run organization in the last 50 years. They consistently win more than most. They consistently go to the playoffs more than most. And Mike Tomlin has never missed the playoffs. I get it. They don't have a playoff win the last 7. Give me their quarterback. What is it that they've had that's been so special? They had a broken down Ben Roethlisberger down the stretch that was a shell of what he was. And then the whole mess of the Duck and the Mason Rudolphs. And I haven't given up on the Pickett kid, but he's still young. Like, he hasn't really had the QB that you really need the last few years. That's why you don't win. What are we making? What shit are we making up about Mike Tomlin? I found that to be so disrespectful to Mike Tomlin, to the Steelers organization, to your intelligence. Like, common sense tells you Mike Tomlin's not the problem there. Shit, dude, he's got to deal with Antonio Brown. And that's the other thing. The stuff we didn't know behind the scenes. He's got Ben Roethlisberger acting like a first-class asshole on a consistent basis. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. And now he's got to deal with George Pickens. So the front office has been giving him some questionable characters. And yet somehow or another, he finds a way to maneuver and get through it with even these characters. And George Pickens is a complete punk. He can play. He's a player and a half. But Jesus Christ, that guy's a punk. And Mike Tomlin's got to put up with that bullshit. I don't understand any of the controversy with Mike Tomlin. None of it. It's a really odd thing. What position would you target? Right now, Jermaine, I'm not set on anything. But in general, I will tell you, I think at 21, it's either an O lineman, a D lineman. I'm not sure there's a stud linebacker you take at 21, but that would be like the third option. There is no tight end. That I've already looked at, unless there's some junior that I don't know about that is declaring, and then he could be the guy, but there's no tight end. The Georgia kid won't be gone by then. So I think that's it right now, but I don't have any names yet. It's too early in the process. I got to know who comes out as a junior and then make my calls and start to find out some stuff. So little time for that. We got plenty of time, bro. We got tons of off season. Mike Tomlin should get an extension just for winning 10 games with Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph and without TJ Watt for half the season. I know. He's a stud, dude. Green Lion, what's up, dude? Big O, thoughts on offense with Connor Williams and without him. I already talked about Connor, and I think they'll re-sign him. Okay. What about T. Higgins? T. Higgins will get a nice fat contract. It won't be from Miami. And it won't be from the Bengals either. They won't be paying him that. Let's see. Orlando Panthers over 3 goals today. A good bet. What about the money line? Man, I know that Minnesota is not great, but I just don't like laying the 1.5 goals. What I would do is wait for the live line and wait for a goal or half a goal. Hope that Minnesota scores first, and then that line goes drastically down, and then I'd pounce on it. The 1.5 goals, that half goal, it burns you so many times. Even sometimes, like at the end of a game where they pull the goalie and they're down by 2 goals, and then they get that cheap goal, and you lost by half a goal. So my suggestion would be wait for the live line and hope that it goes down to a goal or half a goal or plus half a goal or plus a goal for the Panthers, and then pounce. That's what I would do, my friend. I would wait for the live line. Be patient. Wait for the play to come to you. Okay? That's what you do. Let's see what else. Marino never had any run game, but he sure had Duper and Clayton. Yeah, but Marino's a completely different monster. Tua is not Marino, never will be. That's a completely different kind of gunslinger. That's not the same quarterback. Let's see. That just proves that unfairly you're linked to your QB. We should celebrate Tomlin for leading this team to a playoff. I don't know what that means. But whatever, yes, you should celebrate Tomlin and the fact that he gets to the playoffs one way or another. Last year, McDaniel had to figure out a way to win one game with a backup quarterback to get into the playoffs. That shit happens, and you got to find a way. After that, you don't have the guy to really win in the playoffs. So what are you going to do? Not even Mike Tomlin's going to win without a guy that can't win in the playoffs. You know? It's great seeing FAU basketball have several national TV games, and they win on the big stage, not like the Dolphins. That is true. That is true. That is very true. All right, we thank Cameron Wolf and Manny Navarro. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend that knows how to get it done every single day. We thank all of you out there for tuning in and keeping it locked here as always. We appreciate the love on the show. If you're listening throughout the weekend, anytime, Cash App or Venmo, you can make a donation at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, and you can always make a Bitcoin donation. We will answer your stuff there also on Venmo and Cash App. Always appreciated. We'll see you on Monday morning at 10 a.m. We have a weekend off. Enjoy the NFL games. Texans and Ravens, Packers and Niners, Bucks and Lions, Chiefs and Bills. Should be a lot of fun. See you Monday.
This is the Big O Show.